Hi guys, it's Susan from Second Act VSG. How are you? Gosh, it's been 2 weeks. I skipped last week. The holiday threw me off a little bit. We were busy, we were out of town, and then we came back and my work schedule changed, so I had to make up for the time I was off. I didn't make a video, but the strangest things have been going on with me over the past 2 weeks, weight loss wise. So let's get into it. I had my VSG surgery on September 27th, 2016 with Dr. Mark Zare in San Jose, California at Good Samaritan Hospital. My high weight was 240. My surgery date weight was 225. And my current weight today is 179. So if you saw my last video 2 weeks ago, I was 179. Now, the funny thing is, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen the post that I made that the day after I made my video 2 weeks ago, I got on the scale and I was down 5 pounds. From Tuesday to Wednesday, 5 pounds disappeared. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I kept stepping on the scale, making sure the scale was right? I didn't want to make sure it was some like weird thing with the scale. So I kept stepping on and off, on and off. So it was the same weight the entire time. So then I thought, okay, well, we'll see. I'll weigh myself the next day and we'll see if, anything changes. Got on the scale the next day and even lost another pound. So in a 2-day period, I was down 6 pounds. And I have to say, I was just beside myself, like, woohoo, I finally have broken this stall I've been on. I was so excited. Well, you know what? Too early of a celebration, because within 2 days more, I was not only back up the 6 pounds, I was up 2 more pounds. So I was, in essence, up 8 pounds. So my high weight, I think, hit 181 during that 1 week period. So that was just insane. And I think I mentioned on my last video that I know that I've had, hormonal stuff going on with my menopause. And then it came to fruition for me that it definitely was something menopausal, because last week, sorry, and this is too much information for people who don't want to hear menopause stuff, but after maybe 6-7 months of not having my period, last week I started spotting again. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to start having my period again, which is so weird. And I thought, but you know what? That explains the weirdness that my body was doing, because I could tell that I was, even my fingers were like felt swollen, a little bloated. You kind of feel that little bit of very light cramping, like you're getting your period. I was just feeling very strange. So sure enough, my weight shot up, was a little bit of spotting, and now today it's kind of turned into sort of a full cycle thing. So we'll see how long it lasts, if it's a regular cycle or whatever, but at least in my mind, it kind of explained the weirdness that had been going on in the last 2 weeks with my weight. And I've always been somebody who's been very sensitive around my cycles. So I've always been one who easily gains 5-6 pounds around my cycle. And I had been pretty regular since it had stopped, and wasn't really having issues. But, this particular time I could feel that something was different. So sure enough, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that kind of explains just the total weirdness. I am hoping that after I get through this, that the weight is going to drop. I feel like I'm saying this every single week, though, and it's been like 2 months since I've been at this same weight. I mean, I'm exactly 179, which was what I was at 2 weeks ago, which was what I was at, 2 weeks before that, and 2 weeks before that. I mean, it's been like 2 months now that I've just been at this same weight. So, um, what can I do? I just, it is what it is. I did notice that this past week I was actually a little hungrier too, and I thought, oh no, this is not good. So that kind of explains that too, a little bit of those cravings that you get. I mean, I don't know if everybody gets them, when they're having their cycle, but I have always been that way. I've always, had this thing where I get these, cravings before my cycle, and sure enough, I was getting that. So I felt like I was eating a little bit more than I normally would have. Um, so anyway, here we are, 2 weeks later, 179. So, I can't do anything about it. I'm, got to go with it. And I am just hoping that now that I can see the picture here of what's happened, um, I'm hoping that this will kind of get me over that hump and get me in the weight loss cycle again. So we'll see. Menopause is such a strange thing. It's just amazing what your body does, and it's kind of all behind the scenes. You don't necessarily really know what's going on, and even when you think you've sort of moved on certain aspects of menopause, it kind of comes back to bite you. It's a really long process. I mean, some people say that the entire cycle of menopause can take up to 10 years from the point of where, not necessarily where you stop your cycle, but from the point where, for me, it started with me just getting irritated. Oh, hello, Haley. Hi, little girl. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Yeah, thank you. So from the point where, it started for me, was like I just noticed myself getting a little irritated with everything. Like everything irritated me. And then, it went from that into some other symptoms, so it's just from the point where it starts from the little things that you don't even know. You don't even realize it's menopause or that your body's changing. Oh, sorry, I got a tickle on my nose. You don't even realize that it's happening, but you're just noticing that you're agitated, you're irritated, you're just noticing little things. The sleep apnea starts to kick in. And that was another thing. I was sleeping really well these past couple months, and now all of a sudden my sleep pattern changed again, where I was having this, where I couldn't sleep again. So that came on again too. So anyway, like I said, it can be up to a 10-year period. So, for me, I'm probably in about year maybe 4, 5 of this process from the start. And, obviously I feel like I'm just in the thick of it right now, where, your periods have stopped, but now it's kicking up again. I'm assuming I might only get another cycle or two, and then it's probably going to stop for good, because I hear that very frequently with a lot of my friends who've been through this, where, it stops for about a 6-month period, and then, 6 months later, you'll get another period or so, and then it stops permanently. So, I will just hope that this is my last hurrah and that I can move on. I mean, at 56, I am really late in this game. I mean, I have friends who went through this in their 40s, in their early 50s. My gynecologist told me that most women will have, their periods have stopped, by the time they're 50, 51. So I'm super late in the game, but, what can I do about it? So that has been my crazy, crazy last 2 weeks as far as weight loss goes. And I've just come to the point where I've let it go. Like I see now what the issue is. And so I've kind of just, released anything I've had, and I'm using the word anxiety, but I have not had anxiety about this. But, anything that I've been holding on to regarding this, I kind of see what's happening now. It completely is hormonal. So I've just let it go, and I'm just going to let the process write itself out. And then, hopefully we'll pick up in a week from now with maybe my body starting to go back into normal mode. So we'll take a look at that. But in the meantime, I've had some NSVs that, have been really nice. I had something unexpected happen. And I will say, my husband's been telling me for a while now, that he's like, you look normal now. You don't look heavy, you don't look skinny, because you look normal now. You just look like an average weight person, as far as he's concerned. I don't need to lose anymore. But as you all know, my goal is still to get into that healthy BMI. So I'm still shooting for that. But, it's kind of nice that he's just always saying, you look normal now. And he's my husband, and I know he's, my number one supporter, and it's so sweet. So I'm not saying that I don't believe him, but it's, you kind of expect your husband to say that. But what was really nice is that we were out. It was actually our realtor that we've been looking at homes with. So, we know her, but it's not like I know her that well. And, we only see her every so often. And so we saw her a week or two ago. And we're traveling around. And somehow we started talking about weight and weight issues. And she's very tiny, very fit. So I'm sure, anybody who's a size 8 looks large to her because she's just one of those women that just is very fit and exercises all the time. So it's just kind of funny because we got onto this weight subject and I just, said, yeah, I've always had an issue with my weight and, it's just something I've always battled with. And she's like, oh, but you look like a normal size. And it's just funny because your head plays games with you for a minute, and in my head, I'm going, okay, is she just BSing me? Or is she just, does she really mean what she's saying? And I mean, she seemed sincere when she said it. But anyway, it's just one of those things like you can't quite grasp that you're being told that and that she really, truly means it. So it took me a little while to wrap my head around that comment. And then afterwards, I was like, wow, that's kind of cool that somebody I don't know very well, it's not one of my friends, it's not my husband, it's not a family member, somebody that I just don't know that well is telling me that I look normal, So that was just really nice to hear. And in a way, I think it sort of gave me a little mental shift. So that was a really good thing. I really appreciated that. And then I also fit into a pair of size 10 jeans that I know I wore at my thinnest when I had done another program a while back. And so it was really nice to fit into those size 10 jeans and to wear those. And so, that also tells me that my body's getting a little smaller, even though the scale's not moving. But, I am getting a little smaller and fitting into smaller sizes. So I will just continue to not take stock in what the scale says as much and just continue to use my clothes and that type of thing as more of a way to judge where my weight loss is at. So, and I just, for anybody else who's losing super slow or having issues like I am, do the same thing. Take your measurements, go by your clothes, pull something out that's a little too small for you and just keep trying it on each week. And, you will feel it getting looser on you. And that's what really makes you feel good. And in a way, if you're like me and you are somebody who weighs yourself daily, use clothes instead of the scale. I mean, I still weigh myself daily because for me, it's a tool because my body does tend to hold on to weight. I always have. I think a part of that too is that fact that I'm, the diabetic aspect of my body and my DNA makeup. I think that insulin resistance, I tend to hold on to stuff. So that's also the other challenge I have. Along with menopause and, some other things. But, if you're like me, use clothes to judge because that will mentally keep you in a good place and moving forward. And that's what you have to do. And, when you fit into that clothing item, pull another clothing item that's too small and just keep doing that. I mean, I'm still doing that now. That's the only thing that really got me through in the beginning months. Again, as a reminder, I only lost 4 pounds that first month that I was on, after my surgery, which to me is, I don't think I have still ever heard of anybody else who lost that little amount of weight their first month. So I had to, choose some other way to measure my weight loss. And that was the only thing that kept my, mind on the straight and narrow and in the game. So I really highly suggest that for anybody else who is a slow loser as well and having issues like I am. And if you're like me, if you're in your late 40s, early 50s, don't discount that, the menopause process, because it is a really strange thing that, like I said, goes on behind the scenes. You don't necessarily know it's happening or it's there, but it really is making your body do some strange things. Your hormones are shifting and changing, and your body is just trying to process this all along with the weight loss surgery. So that is my story. I wish I had some fabulous number that I could have reported today, but it's not going to happen. And all I'm going to hope for this week is that, I get through this, cycle that I'm going through right now, and that I'm hoping I will come out the other end of it in a week or so, and that then I can kind of get back on normal track. So we'll see how this week goes, but I just want to wish you all a great week, and I am so sorry. I'm so behind on my videos. I have not had time to look at any videos lately, so I'm going to try to catch up in the next day or two on my videos. So I'll be commenting on your videos, and I'm excited to see where you guys are at, because I know so many of you are doing so well. So thanks again, you all, and I will talk with you soon. Okay, bye.